एक जिंदगी मिली थी इंस्ट्रक्शन मैनुअल बिना, एक पहेली थी सुलझानी किसी को कहे बिना। जिंदगी का एक हिस्सा मैंने कश्मकश में बिताया है। पहचान मिली फिर खुद की और मिली कुछ शोहरत। नाज हुआ फिर खुद पर, वाह रे खुदा की कुदरत। जिंदगी का एक हिस्सा मैंने फख्र में बिताया है। जिंदगी की कहानी अजीब है मगर बड़े शौक से मैंने इसको सुनाया है। जिंदगी का एक हिस्सा मैंने ताज्जुब में बिताया है। Right from my childhood, I think from the age of 3 to 4 years or so, I had this feeling that, I identify as a girl, though I'd been raised as a boy. When puberty hit, there was this sudden realization that I'm different from other people because the experience of puberty was extremely distressing for me. The kind of characters representing queerness around me were only gay men who were used as caricatures in movies, or people from the Hijra or Kinnar community whom we were all afraid of. And I realized that I definitely do not identify with gay men. I do not identify as someone from the Hijra community, and therefore it was a quest of identity. It was like, who am I really? So my family did realize right from my early childhood that this son of theirs is acting very girlish. I only had girlfriends at that point of time. I used to play with them, though I was in an all-boys school. It was at the age of 20 years when I formally spoke about my experience with my mother and brother especially. And that was when my own answers were found, because before that, as I mentioned, I was seeking the answers. I didn't really have any term to describe myself. I didn't really know who exactly I identified as. So I went to the psychiatry OPD, and then over a course of almost 2 months, I discovered myself. I discovered who I identify as. And finally, I had a term, though it was a term which described my condition as a disease or a pathology. It was called gender identity disorder medically at that point of time. A term that could explain my existence, my behavior, my actions, and my expression. So finally, I had a term, and that is when I came out to my family and told them about it. So it was a denial at first, which was later on converted to why me, why my child, what did I do wrong, was the question that my mother kept on asking for a very long period of time. And I'm not abnormal, I'm not a mistake, I'm not an error in the creation of the God. In our society, which talks about log kya kahenge and samaj kya bolega, pados wale kya bolenge, rishtedar kya bolenge, ये हमारे धर्म में नहीं है, हमारे यहाँ ऐसा नहीं होता. These are the kind of questions and statements which really pull a transgender person down. I'm someone who always wanted to be identified or recognized as a woman, and therefore, when I achieved that, and that was around 4 years back when I transitioned, the way the people started looking at you, that felt different, that felt very euphoric, comfortable and even pleasurable at times. A very significant and important and proportionately larger part of that journey, I think, is accepting yourself, being honest to yourself, being honest to the people around you, being courageous to express yourself the way you are, whether it's in the form of makeup, whether it's in the form of the outfits, whether it's in the form of the pronouns that you want to be used for yourself. The first time I started taking the hormones in 2016, and the feeling that gave me, the happiness that gave me, I was telling one of my friends that now I know how it feels to be happy. for nearly 34 years of my life, I didn't know what it means to be happy. I had never experienced this pleasure and happiness which I'm feeling right now. Surviving as a woman in this patriarchal and misogynist society itself is a success for each and every woman. Since I'm in a university campus where there are thousands of students, and on Women's Day when they started gifting flowers, they came out and started wishing Women's Day, that felt like something very different, as very beautiful, as something where you felt finally, after living 3 decades of my life, people are now accepting as a woman.
आज मैं ऊपर आसमां नीचे, आज मैं आगे ज़माना है पीछे.